There has been a second Kentucky basketball scrimmage video posted to Twitter, Instagram, wherever you may be finding Kentucky basketball on socials. If you didn't see the first one, you can go check it out over on Kentucky basketball socials, but it was a scrimmage between Kentucky basketball's current roster and the La Familia team for TBT, which is actually playing tonight, July 19th. But I decided after watching this video, and some of it was overlapped from the previous video that we got. It was just different angles of the same shots and scoring. I decided to go and kind of tally up some things, kind of figure out, okay, what is the social media team trying to show us? What are some notes that we can take away from this? And I've got some things here for you. I went through and tallied up every single shot for every single player. And yes, combined between these two videos, every single healthy player had scored or had an assist. In case you don't know, Kobe Brea and Lamont Butler are out right now for Kentucky basketball. So they didn't play in this game. So you had a 10-man rotation. And this is what we saw between the first, this is what we saw in these two videos. We'll start with the first one. My assumption is that a lot of you have already seen the first one. Kriisa had 11 points and 2 assists. He made 3 threes and he had 1 layup on a cut. If I'm not mistaken, it was a very nice pass from Amari Williams. 11 and 2, according to the first video. Kerr Kriisa got a lot of run, it looks like, in this scrimmage because Lamont Butler is out. I think Kentucky would have been a little bit better defensively if they had Brea and Butler. Brea because of his size against the Harrison twins, and Butler against a player like Eric Bledsoe, who just was simply able to kind of break down Kentucky at various points, getting inside the arc, finishing at the rim, scoring in the mid-range, things like that. I think Kentucky would have been better served defensively with Butler, but it wasn't like Kriisa was terrible, it looked like, from the video. Just some tough shot making. But 11 points, 2 assists from Kriisa. Jaxson Robinson made 4 threes. 4 threes for 12 points and 3 assists in the first video. We're going to see later on, he actually scored a little bit more than that. And the final score indicates he actually probably scored a lot more than what we got to see. Amari Williams, this may surprise you. Amari Williams only had 1 bucket in the first video, but he also had 4 assists. 4 assists for the 6'11", 250-pound center. This is what he was brought in to do. This is what Mark Pope has raved about during his time in practice, and this is what he said whenever Amari was actually brought on. They went out to go get Williams because of his ability to pass. He's a very good passer. And time again, Kentucky in transition, in the half court, you draw the defense in just a little bit, and there goes your big man kicking it out for a 3. I said this on yesterday's show, and I'll reiterate it again here. Does a team like Duke early in the season try and focus on Williams? Do they overplay him? Are they aggressive? Are they physical? Do they try and create turnovers? Me personally right now, after seeing the way Kentucky operates on offense, that's probably the first place I would go. That's just my assumption. He looks like the engine. But 2 points and 4 assists. Colin Chandler, 4 points, 1 assist. He had 2 layups. One of them was off of a cut. I believe one of them was just off of a drive. And both were tough finishes, I might add. Travis Perry, towards the very end of the video, had a catch and shoot 3 in the corner in transition. He had 3 points and 1 assist, according to the first video. Ainsley Almanor did not have any statistics in the first video. He did in the second. Andrew Carr, 2 points, 1 assist. His 1 assist was on a kick-out 3 as well. I think it was to Kriisa. Otega Owe, 3 points, 1 assist. His foot was like almost on the line, or it might have been on the line whenever he shot the 3. I don't care. I'm calling it a 3. You can argue it's not that important. I don't think it's important to y'all either. 3 points, 1 assist. And then Brandon Garrison, 2 points, no assists. Trent Noah did not record a statistic in the first video. So those were the stats from the first video. 11 and 12 from Kriisa and Robinson. 4 assists from Williams are the things that I want to point out here. If Kriisa does get a decent amount of playing time, even though Butler's going to be rocking a lot, I think, with the first team, then he's going to be a very lethal scorer. He's one of the best shooters in the entire country, and I think he's going to be even more so with this roster. A couple of you in the comments have asked, why do I think Lamont Butler's going to start? Like, where am I getting that from? And we did an episode on this in case you missed it. I think some of you did. Lamont Butler, in an interview with KSR just a few weeks ago, came out and actually said, I expect to be the starting point guard. I expect that they're going to run the offense through me. At least that's what they've been telling me. So Lamont Butler came out and actually said it publicly, hey, I'm going to be the starting point guard. So that's where we're getting, that's what I'm basing it off of. It's just straight up saying, hey, I'm going to be PG1. Now, I know there's going to be some conversation still as to whether or not Kriisa should start or will start, or who knows? He may end up starting. He may end up actually starting, and Butler may just be wrong. But that's where we've been getting that. So that's what we saw from the first video. Really solid numbers from Kriisa. 4 threes from Jaxson Robinson. He made more in the second. We'll get to that in a minute. But 3 assists also from Jaxson Robinson. I think there's a world where if Kentucky wanted to get funky with it, and they're probably going to get really funky with it throughout the entire season, just the way that they operate. Kriisa or Butler at the 1, doesn't matter. Start Jaxson Robinson at the 2 at 6'7". He's got the ball handling and the shooting to do it. He can pass. He can rebound. He can defend 2 through 4 probably at that position. Start him at the 2. Have Brea come off the bench, or Brea play the 3, and Otega Owe start at the 3 or come off the bench. There's a lot of different things you could do with this rotation, man. You've got some really, really solid scores, and you've got some versatile options. You could push some things around, and it wouldn't really matter like what their position is, so to speak. It's just the offense, just the guards, the wings, the forwards. But I think you could put Robinson, after seeing him full speed with Kentucky, not with BYU, but with Kentucky, I'd feel perfectly fine putting him at the 2. You also get to see pretty easily why he was the leading scorer off the bench at BYU a season ago. He can just fill it up, dude. He is a tough shot taker, tough shot maker. He scored one of those 3s in isolation. We noted that yesterday. He looks great. So that was the notes from the first video. I want to get to the second video here, the one that just dropped today. And I want to break down kind of what we saw collectively from a stats perspective. And it's really going to kind of open us up here to realize, hey, there's a lot more that happened in this scrimmage that we don't realize. And then also, this offense is going to be really good. Before I get into all of that, I just want to let you guys know, as I have been recently, if you want to join our Locked On Kentucky Discord, it's a place for anybody in Big Blue Nation to come and chat about anything going on with Kentucky basketball, Kentucky football, Kentucky baseball. If you want to go join the Locked On Kentucky Discord at Lance Dawe _, you actually see it here on YouTube. If you're watching, you can see my Twitter/X there at Lance Dawe _. Pinned at the top of my Twitter/X profile is a link to join the Discord. It's a super fun place. I'm looking forward to it. Whenever football season starts, it's going to be a really fun place for all of us to talk about what's going on with Big Blue Nation. Basketball season is going to be super fun. I expect to be interacting with you guys throughout game day, throughout the game. It's a fun place to be. It's free. Again, at Lance Dawe _ if you want to go find that link. All right, wrapping up the Friday edition of Locked On Kentucky, going over some more scrimmage notes that we got from Kentucky basketball's 2 videos that they posted from the scrimmage against La Familia, who, as of this recording, is on in 15. So I better wrap this up. So the first video, we noticed Kriisa had 11, Robinson had 12, Williams had 2 and 4 assists, which is really solid. I think we saw more assists in the first video than we did in the second. Here are the numbers. Got these notes here from the second video. Kerr Kriisa had 11 points and 2 assists. He hit 3 threes and 1 2. Same stats as the first video. Jaxson Robinson only had 1 assist in the second video, but he had 15 points and made 5 threes. He had a 5th three in the second video. So Jaxson scored at least 15 points and made at least 5 threes against a team full of former NBA players and alumni. Just let that sink in. This team's gonna score. They're gonna score a lot of points, man. Amari Williams also had 2 points and 4 assists in the second video. I think I might have actually counted him for 4 points and 4 assists because I think the second layup in the second video is actually different than the first. I may be mistaken. That's how I marked it earlier today. Colin Chandler also had 4 and 1. Same thing here. They didn't show Travis Perry's 3 in the second video, but they did show that he had an assist. So 0 points, 1 assist for Perry in the second video. Ainsley Almanor got in on the action in the second video. He had a really nice mid-range jumper. Smooth as butter, dude. For a 6'7" power forward, man, you got to let that rock. There are some guys on this roster that I was on the phone with somebody earlier today, and he pointed out, he had seen both videos. He pointed out the fact that Kentucky's got all of these different shooters. They've got all these different guys that can score. It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of manage that, how they work these guys in and keep them all happy, because it's going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be difficult. But Ainsley Almanor, a mid-range jumper, and then he had a 3. He had 5 points, no assists. Andrew Carr hit a 3 in this video, hit a corner 3 in transition, and he also had an assist. If you'll note, he had a layup and had an assist in the first one. So I'll show you the final tally here in a minute. Otega Owe, no statistics in this video, despite having 3 and 1 in the previous. Brandon Garrison, no statistics, despite having 2 points in the previous video. Trent Noah, at the very end of this video, actually hit a corner 3. So Trent Noah, 3 points, 0 assists. So collectively there, you have 4 assists from Williams, 2 from Kriisa, 1 from Robinson, 1 from Chandler, 1 from Perry, 1 from Carr. So that's 10 assists in the second video. In total, this is the very least that we got from the Kentucky Wildcats between these 2 videos. This is the very least. 11 points, 2 assists from Kriisa. 15 and 3 from Jaxson Robinson. I'm going to say 4 and 4 from Amari Williams. 3 points, 1 assist from Travis Perry. 4 points, 1 assist from Colin Chandler. 5.0 assist from Ainsley Almanor. 5 points, 1 assist from Andrew Carr. 3 points, 1 assist from Otega Owe. 2 points, 0 assists from Brandon Garrison. And 3 points, 0 assists from Trent Noah. Collectively, that is 55 of Kentucky's 96 points they scored during the scrimmage. And that is 13 assists. That is 13 made threes, if you want to count Otega Owe's 3 as a 3. And then 8 twos. 8 layups or mid-range shots collectively from the Kentucky Wildcats. Guys, they scored 96, and the offense looked that good, and it was half of the points. You had 13 assists off of those baskets, by the way. The offense, I think, it's not going to be 96 points per game strong. And truthfully, it's probably not going to be 13 threes a game strong. Although it could be, because they scored 96. And we saw 13 threes in this game. That was 39 points. So where the rest of those points come from? Probably from beyond the arc, if I had to guess. Anyway, that this team is going to score the basketball. They're going to have off nights, sure. Same with last year's team. You're going to have off nights. But Mark Pope's first few teams at BYU, I'm going to pull this up for you guys real quick, actually. I had this down on my notes, and I'm just going to pull it up for you. So, BYU, last year, only shot 34.8% from 3, which was a little above average nationally. It's not great. It's not bad, but it's certainly not great. In Big 12 play, they only shot 32.6%, but they relied on the three ball more than anybody in conference play, and they were second in the nation in point distribution from three. 41% of their points came from three. They took a ton of outside shots, and they didn't make them at an extremely high clip. They made them at an above average clip. Can you imagine if the Kentucky Wildcats make their threes at like a 37, 38% clip, which would be really good, but I think it's definitely in the realm of possibility for this team. If they make, let's just say, a 37% clip, and they take a ton of threes a game, they're going to be dropping a lot of points. They're going to be outscoring their competition pretty consistently. Now, they have to play defense with that. And BYU ranked 60th nationally last year in total defense, which was actually, it's pretty good. It's a lot better than what Kentucky was. But I just want to point this out to close out the show. Kentucky played 7 games last year where they made at least 13 threes. Some of these games were non-conference games. Some of these games were conference. Kentucky went 6-1 in those contests. The only loss was on the road in overtime to Texas A&M, 97-92, a game that Kentucky had won and blew. They also gave up 97 points. If your defense is marginally better and your offensive output is marginally worse, you're going to win a lot of games, dude. You're going to win a lot of games. Now, obviously, this year's different than last year. Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Arkansas, Florida, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. They've got different pieces. Some of them do, some of them don't. They're going to be constructed a little bit differently. There are going to be tweaks. There are going to be adjustments. They're going to play this Kentucky team differently. But on paper, the assumption stays the same. You score like you did in this scrimmage, sort of like you did in this scrimmage, you're going to end up winning games. And that's what Kentucky needs to do in March. They need to go and win games in the postseason. Mark Pope, with a more talented roster than he had at BYU, in my opinion, with a really solid scheme, he is going to have a chance to really show out in year one. So the question of whether or not he actually does it.